Hello and welcome to the Raising Athletes podcast. My name is Kirsten Jones. I'm a peak performance and sports parenting coach. I love helping people figure out what's getting in their way, what's holding them back, what limiting beliefs they're struggling with so that they can get out of their own way and do their best work. I am also a brand new author. Raising Empowered Athletes just came out 2 months ago. I'm in the middle of my book tour. I'm probably coming to a city near you. So look me up, go onto my website, kirstenjonesinc.com right now and check it out. Check out, obviously you're on the podcast, but like and share because all of us parents, athletes are listening, we're just trying to do the best we can from where we are. We're trying to get better. And that's what this podcast is about. I'm so excited to have this guest on. I've known him for a couple of years, a fellow Sunshine coach. We've seen each other in many gyms, but I've always admired his perspective because he came from a little bit different culture. He played at a very high level, and now he's helping the next generation of athletes do that. So welcome, Frankie. Thanks so much for being on.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. I love the work you've done, and I know you have so many followers, and you've been helping so many, not just the kids, but also the parents who are, the guardians of the kids we're trying to help. So I love what you do, and that's why I'm so excited to be here today.
Thank you. So let's talk about your journey. I always love to hear, I think great coaches come with a story. There's a reason why they want to coach. And I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but at least in my case as to why I do what I do, it started with where you started. So can you share with our listeners what your journey was to getting to coaching?
Yeah. So, I mean, being a coach was never part of my, I'm going to do this, then I want to become this Coach Frankie thing and win national titles. That was never on my radar. I've always been a huge competitor because I've played sports. I started as a tennis player and a swimmer when I was a kid. Then I transitioned into volleyball, kind of as a mistake, really. We didn't have school that day, and one of my good friends, she was in the synchronized swimming in the Olympic Center in Dominican Republic, where I'm from. And they just saw me. I just went there with her because I had nothing else to do, and I just sat there. And swimming pool is right next door to volleyball, and a coach saw me. He was like, "Oh, I was super skinny, super tall," and they were like, "Hey, let's put you to play volleyball." We're like, "Oh yeah, I don't know how to play." And he's like, "Don't worry about it. We'll teach you." And that's how I got into volleyball. And then
What age? Sorry, what age were you?
Oh my God, I was 15 at that point. 15 years old. But I was a big tennis player at that point. I would play like national and international competition already for my country. But the beautiful thing was that I fell in love with volleyball. It was like the camaraderie with I've never had teammates, you're kind of normally on your own with your coach. This time it's like the teammates, you all have the same goal. You all kind of look the same, because I was always like the giant amongst the tennis players. And then it's like, oh my God, I felt like this is my safe space. I can be full on Frankie. And that was celebrated. Because, it happens with a lot of our tall girls. They feel a little weird in normal social, oh my God, I'm the tallest. And I'm like, that's a good thing. You will learn how to celebrate that tallness. So volleyball celebrate height. So I was like, I don't have to hunch down anymore. I can walk with my chest up high. And that was pretty awesome for me. And then after
How tall
that,
are you?
I'm 6'6".
Yep.
Yeah, so 1.8 meters. So yeah, I'm 6'6", and I've been this height for a long time, since I was like 17 probably. So it was pretty awesome because I made the national team at a very young age. By the time I was 16, I was already flying to like world championships with the youth national team.
In 1 year?
Yeah,
You started at 15 and at 16 you're playing junior. Wow.
Yeah, I learned. So I don't know if you know this, but a lot of the like tennis swings do kind of simulate. So, I would play a little bit in school. We didn't have a team or anything. It's just they give you a ball. They rent you a ball and you just play over the net. But I was a really, really quick study. I Something just clicked in my head and I was really good. Of
But
course.
parents listening, that's so critical right there, that the skills are transferable, right? And I coach the 9 and 10-year-olds, and I'm always shocked when the little girls, you say, go throw the ball, and they go like this. They try to like shot put it because they've never done
They've
any other
never.
arm motion.
Yep.
So they don't have any of those other just normal arm swings. So parents try everything, right? He didn't get to it. I didn't get to it till I was 15. I have parents apologizing to me that their 10-year-old is probably too old to play club. And I'm like, no, like if they've been playing sports, if they've been doing ballet or piano or anything that they're using their brain, they're going to be able to transfer,
Listen, because parents are listening, I think it's so important for them to understand that I don't like really when parents, 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, like, oh yeah, sports is just not her thing. Or, oh yeah, she's not really good at this or that. I'm like, whoa, wait. You're talking about a 12-year-old. Like, they have never done this before. Like, it's like you can't run a sprint before crawling, and then you walk and stumble, etc. So it's really disheartening because, like you say, sports is so competitive in America. So by the time you're 15 and you're not good, you're kind of a dinosaur already. But not really. That's why, and you'd never know where something will click in them, and not just that in their brain, but in their heart as well, to have passion for something. It's really, really important for me to have the athletes. Listen, how many of them are going to be Olympian? Probably one. Who knows? We can't have that success in our brain, but all my girls that play for me have passion for the sport, have discipline that carries over for their future, and those are the little things I want them to take with them. How to be competitive the right way, and for later on in school, in a workplace, and it's all those little things that I took away from my sport. And not only that, it's a confidence. A lot of our girls now, they don't have confidence. There's so much social media and these like you unattainable things out there of the way you should look, the things you should eat, the way you should talk, everything is so unattainable, social media wise, and that's what they're exposed to. So I think sports, whatever sport it is, it just gives you a confidence because it kind of like builds you. It's like building blocks, right? So it's just making like stronger minds, which is so important, especially in today's world that we live on. But yeah, I played volleyball. I mean, I was a swimmer since 3. And then while swimming, I started with my tennis. Then I was tennis alone because I thought that was going to be my next big thing. And I was good, but then I found volleyball, and then I even got even better because my path to the club, it was like something I wanted to do. At one point, I remember, they couldn't take me to practice and stuff. There goes Frankie. He's walking 2 miles with his little backpack and a water bottle to go to practice. I don't see a lot of kids doing that these days. So it's that, like, if you have passion for something, you will make it happen, and that's really
So I'm
important.
hearing two things. One, maybe the fact that you came to it later was an advantage because you were actually hungry to learn and get
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
And two, it was intrinsically driven. There was nobody saying, oh, okay, well, come on, you have to do this. You said at 5, this is what you wanted to do. Now we're gonna keep doing this, even though you're not so excited about it.
Yeah, because when you're a little older, you're also a little wiser, and you understand things from a different perspective, especially if it's something that you picked. Because between you and my parents were like, "Oh yeah, sure, he's playing volleyball now. Let's see how long that lasts." Because I was like jumping around, and I want to play piano, and I want to play the violin now, and it lasts 2 months, because I was so curious. And my friend does this, I want to do that. Oh, my friend does this, oh, I want to do that too. So, but it's good because the more you learn, like I always feel like your brain grows, you know. But then when you really find something, you will make it happen regardless what people say around you. And that's where I feel like the passion kind of takes over. It's like people right now, how many people are being, oh, I want to be a musician. Oh, I want to, and people, the immediate thought is, that doesn't pay the bills. Oh my God, you're going to be poor. They don't care because they're passionate about it. And that's why I love volleyball, because volleyball doesn't make me a millionaire. And people told me, I'm from Dominican Republic. My dad was in the national team of of basketball. He got
Oh,
drafted to go and play for as a baseball, and we're all big baseball,
huge.
in Dominican
Yeah.
Republic. So everyone was like, "Dude, you're gonna be making money. Play baseball." And I'm like, "I hate it." And I was actually probably going to be good. Who knows? Because I was fast, I was tall, but I didn't have the passion, wasn't there. So I just don't, let your kids feel passionate. You know that I have had girls that come to me at 15, 16, and like, hey, coach, like I've been playing club all my life since 10. I'm 16 now, but I'm just, I love the arts and I want to focus on that. And playing club is not allowing me to do this. The selfish coach, I'm kind of like, whoa, whoa, this is disrupting my team and the game plan I have. But you know what? The Frankie coach, the one that I'm here for the girl, regardless what it is that she wants to do. And I tell them, you know what? You better be the best singer out there. You better be the best painter out there. I need to see your name out there. Like whatever it is that you're gonna go, you're gonna leave volleyball for whatever it is for your passion. Be the best you can be in that sport, and I'm proud of you. That's it. That's all that matters.
And I believe each person has a gift.
Yeah.
And we're all sampling. Well, we're all sampling all of our lives. I mean, some of us don't come to our thing until we're in our whatever 40s or I'm 53. I just wrote the book, right? Like it's taken me a while. I'm a slow study. It doesn't matter. There's no clock, and we all feel this pressure that and we've got to be the best and we've got to be first, and the kid has to be, we got to get into the best school, and they've got to, let them try these things. I love what you're saying, and I 100% agree. Is some of these kids, it's a wonderful way to make friends, it's a wonderful way to learn about team, it's a wonderful way, but if at a certain point the kid is saying, gosh, I'd rather be the stagehand in the school play because
Yep.
I really want to study the arts, some point you need to say, okay, let's go do that. And like you said, be the best at it. Right.
Yeah, like parents, I just want them. The only thing that the kid needs is your support, knowing that you care and that you're behind whatever decisions they will be. And listen, sometimes they need to learn, even with a bad decision. Yeah, we're there. We're here to give them all the right tools. If it's something drastic and crazy, then yeah, it's a no. But whenever they're trying to like, they're curious about other line of work, like why not let them explore that idea, because it's just sometimes they come back in 2 weeks like, oh, you know what, this is not working for me. I really like, because they don't know anything to compare with, especially so young, they don't have life experiences. I have girls all the time, yeah, I don't think I'm going to play club next year. Oh, okay, yeah, because like the arts or this and that. 2 weeks later, am I too late? I need a spot. I'm like, hey, we are here for you 24/7.
And that's part of being a teenager, right? The frontal lobe is wide open. You have the executive functioning isn't online yet. So you thinking about, I mean, my joke is my daughter can't decide what she wants for dinner. How can she decide what she wants to do 3 years from now, right? Like, it's not really fair to say, oh, you have to have it all figured out. If she wants to pivot and she wants to pivot back, fine. Like, but I think the further we can lean back as parents to say, what do you want to do? And oh, you want to go explore that? And oh, I want to come back. That's fine. That's okay. That's part of the process.
Well, for me also is a lot of parents, I feel, want to live through the eyes of their kids. Sometimes their own, they would have wanted to be XYZ, and because however they were brought up or they couldn't reach that goal, now they wanted to have to be the goal for your kid. It's great for them to have a base and that support and stuff, but I always feel that you need to let the kids at the end ultimately decide for themselves, because first, I always feel when you push a kid to do something they kind of don't want, there is resentment at the end of the day, and also the kid doesn't really try as hard because it is pushed upon them. It goes back to that passion. If they found that passion on their own, I have kids already. Coach, I need a private for this. I'm like, I'm full. I can do 6 a.m. before practice. I'm like, wow. Like that is a kid that, you know, that is not pushed by
Yeah.
a parent. Like she is begging for me to show up at 6 a.m. for a private. I don't want to go at 6 a.m. for a private. But when that comes from an athlete like that, like I don't care. I don't have to sleep that much because I want to get better. How do you say no? Like I can't say no because that kid is hungry to learn and get better.
Yes.
So it's like, wow, I can't say no. Sure, I'll be there at 5:30 in the morning if I have to.
I, I've got a client like that right now, and she texted me last week. Okay, when can we meet again? It's going really well. When can we meet again? And then her mom's like, things are going well. She does not need a session with you right now. She's like, but because she's like, ooh, I gave her some, things to work on, and she was using them and implementing them and seeing results. So we want more of that, right? Like that's what's fun is I think when you see them go, oh, I like this, and I know how to work on X, Y, or Z that you've told me. Like, ooh, it's about my mindset. Ooh, it's about how I show up, even when I'm hurt. And to see those pennies drop, that's what youth sports is about, right?
Yeah, no, and again, when I said in the beginning, I really love what you do because I come from a third world country where we work our physical attributes and everything is so, physical and we rely on that power. It's like going to a gym, like you go to a gym 2 days and then you start seeing like a little pump and I start walking different and now it kind of drives me to go back, back, back. And sometimes like you need a rest. I'm like, no, but every time I come, it gets better. We don't come from a culture where your mind actually needs to work as well. It needs to be trained, it needs to exercise, and it needs to rest. I don't come
It's a
from that.
muscle.
So exactly. And then that's why I respect so much what you do because yeah, I can have all the physical tools and still my brain won't allow me to use them because
Yeah.
like I like to say, mental health is a real thing. And like it or not, the thing is that culturally, for me, I don't know in America, I wasn't raised here, but we don't talk about that. We can't talk about that.
Mm,
It's
mm,
toughen up, man it up. It's in your head.
mm.
Well, yeah, it's in my head, but it's there. So it's those little things that we can't really talk about, especially as athletes from our national team. How can I go to a coach in the national team? You're the strongest of this 10 million people representing an island. How do I say, I need a break? I need a
Mm.
second. Or, oh my God, every time the match is 24 all, I'm shaking. What can I do? Toughen up means nothing to a child. Toughen
Yeah.
up. No, we need to find tools and understand and pinpoint the problem. And, that's why I always feel like I would have been even a bigger athlete and I thought I was good, but I would have been a bigger athlete if my mind would have had the tools that you provide to your athletes and parents. And that was.
So even throughout your entire time on the national team, you never had a sports psychologist?
I
Nobody
mean,
to,
listen, sure. There's this
not
guy that
really.
they would have bring here and there, like that I don't even remember the name. And still, I remember everything was more like a group, and I get it. And still, it was so, you know, it's so macho. It's so
Mm,
the world that we were living in those times. It, it was not okay to. No one would feel like, oh yeah, I feel sad. Sad. Like men don't feel sad. Why are you sad?
mm,
Like look at you. You're good looking. You got money. You do well. But why are you sad? No. Forget
mm,
about that. Next question. That really doesn't mean anything. A lot of our
mhm,
girls, they're gorgeous. They play well. They're amazing athletes. They're going to the best schools later. The parents can afford the best schools to go to if volleyball doesn't work out. Why are you sad? Well, it's real. So
mhm,
yeah, it's. I don't think we had the necessary help, but I don't think it was because of a lack. It was more of a when you don't know any better. I don't know the word in English. Like
mhm, mhm.
we're hypocritical about it because we don't know. You know what I
It was
mean?
cultural too, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the culture dictated was, yeah, we all just
But you
do
see it
this.
in
And
club as well. I hear it all the
okay.
time. I try not to tell. I can't tell an athlete of mine like I don't know how to help you. It's in your head. Well, she's insecure. There's
Mhm,
few things that you can, or like for me, let's say like you've come to teens of mine, like they need help. Yes, I did not go to school for something like that.
mhm,
I haven't read everything I could. I tried to, but I'm
mhm,
not, I'm the volleyball coach. and I give you a lot of that physical attributes that you need, that physical work, and technical work. But the mind, that's why the best teams in the world not just have coaches. This coach, very important, because I always tell people, you go to a volleyball tournament, you go to a convention center, there's thousands of girls. They all even look alike to me, but the mind is what makes you even better than the one next to you. They all have the same tools. They all work the same amount of hours. They all eat the same amount of food. They work out. They do their privates. They do this, but it's how their minds react that is the difference from a good player to a great player.
So you've coached, is it 3 national championship teams?
Yes.
3. So at what ages were they? 17s and 18s?
18s and 17.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about them. And you're a Sunshine coach and you've had this success. And every year you go in and you're like, okay, now at this certain point you're nationally ranked and people are expecting you to be the best. Talk to me about what does that feel like from a coach's perspective, and what are you telling your parents and athletes about how we going to, it's one thing to come in being the underdog. It's another thing to come in at the top of the heap.
Yeah. So listen, I've been in both sides of the spectrum here. When I first started coaching, which was I was playing pro, I needed surgery for my shoulder. They bring me Derek Science, the coach the director at Malibu Sunshine. He always tell me, you would have been a great coach. I'm like, me? I would eat one of these kids alive. Like, no, I don't have that patience and stuff. I can't do this. And then he always told me, so finally, Frankie gets surgery. So I'm sidelined. And I go in to Marymount and I meet Carrie Klein. She's like, oh, like, help this team, da da da. Yeah, she hooked me in there. This is 8 years ago and I'm still there, and I started with a team that I needed to like cross my fingers and I hope they can put the ball over the net. It was a very developmental team, which is great because we even have Division 1 athletes from that team. So it was pretty awesome to see like from nothing to
Progress.
D1.
Yeah.
But and I was like, wow, like why do they cry a lot? They're like 13 and 14 years old and they would cry even winning. They're crying. I don't know why, but they're crying. So it was so different than later on having those 17, 18-year-olds with the mentality. So Sunshine is really known for, girl that plays for us, girl that's going to go and play college wherever she wants to go. We are really, really proud and we pride ourselves to say that we get girls into good schools to play volleyball, if that's what the North is. Normally, Sunshine is so competitive and a difficult program to get into that if you're already a 17, 18-year-old and you're still playing for us, it's because your North is to play in college. When we come in nationally ranked, you already have a target in your back. It's Sunshine. It could be Sunshine 11-year-olds. You have Sunshine. That's our brand. Wherever you say Sunshine is coming, you have to count with us. So wherever they see us walk in, oh great, Sunshine is here. Whoever it is, it's that mentality, which is a badge that I wear with tons of pride. I love being, Frankie's here. Who did he bring? I
And I
love.
can vouch, always the best dressed in the entire gym. Always. The best fit that anybody has. You're like, where? Oh, there's Frankie. He's ready.
Thank you. No, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Since I was an athlete, like, you know how the girls do their ponytails and their little braids and they want to look cute and pretty. Like, I remember, like, the best of the best athletes. If you feel like $1,000,000, that's what you bring out there in the universe. I am $1,000,000. So I like looking good. Like, why not? And that's the energy that I bring to my girls. It's part of my brand. It's like I take care of myself. I put time on this. And that's what I do for my teams as well. I put the time, I look the part, and I play the part. That's part of my mental process. If you see me one day looking like I just woke up and ran here, I'll probably coach the same way because I'm not ready. mentally, I haven't prepared myself. This looking good, the hat, the thing. It's part of, I like it. It's part of my own mental little, getting ready for my girls to perform their best. So,
Which is
yeah.
great advice and great modeling, because we know, as we know, teenagers aren't going to listen to 2/3 of what we say, but they're watching everything we do and they're taking notes and they're saying, hey, look, he's prepared. He's on, oh, I need to be doing some of that. And even if they won't admit it, they're taking notes.
So funny you say that, because all the girls, if you tell them, like, tell me a few things that I should know about playing for Frankie. Oh, at 6 a.m., don't show up to breakfast with that hair undone. I always say, you are the brand of Sunshine, and we need to represent. But not only that, we are out there trying to get recruited for colleges. If a college coach sees this girl that hasn't even put that effort, how is he going to be convinced that you're going to be putting that much effort in his team, in classes to pass, to be able to play? Those are little things to remember. I know my girls. All my girls are amazing. Well, he doesn't know my girls, or she doesn't know my girls. So that's something that I tell them, that they have to look the part, because they probably get how many seconds to be judged. And unfortunately, they're there just to judge your character. And a lot of these coaches are not just looking at technical abilities. A lot of
Yeah.
these coaches even love to see them in the sideline. Are they cheering
Mm-hmm.
enough? Are they being a good teammate? Do they put the time to even look? Or, okay, she's injured and she didn't even put the sunshine gear on. That shows, like, oh, she's a slacker. Maybe she's not. Maybe she, or, oh, I didn't, she lost her jersey. Well, that tells me that she doesn't pay attention much. Like, you never know, right? So I just,
Mm-hmm.
I want the girls, they know this about me. Part of our brand, just like having an Instagram or whatever, it's part of your brand. So I put out there my brand. Your brand, as a kid, you need to come dress the part. You're a Sunshine kid, and what we represent. That amazing young woman that is going to be, after volleyball, is going to go out there and kill it in the real world. So you start young, and that's part of.
Absolutely. And it's so much more than, like you said, the skill of hitting the ball. That's one part of it, yes. And of course, you have to check that box. They, of course, want to know that you can play volleyball. But when they start deciding, do I want this person part of my program? They want to know how you're going to act off the court. They want to know what kind of team player they are. They want to know what kind of person you are. What other interests do you have? What things do you like to do? What gets you excited? How
Yeah.
competitive are you? I know one coach who would have them play on recruiting visits, play Rochambeau, rock, paper, scissors, just to see, like, do they want to win, or are they like, yeah, whatever, like
Yep.
there are little tests that
Yep.
they're doing to see if you're going to be a good fit or not.
Well, I've had coaches, because I've been around volleyball so long that I know a lot of the college coaches, or you start meeting the college coaches, you start talking about your girls to college coaches. And I've had college coaches literally tell me, "Oh, why wasn't she in the huddle? Oh, I'm like, who's paying attention to that? I didn't even know she didn't get to the huddle on time. Or, yeah, every time you call a timeout, she's just walking to you while the others run to you. Like, what's going
Mm-hmm.
on?" I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. But look how they're looking for the minimal, like, oh, is she, like, not liking that he's giving her feedback that she doesn't want to hear? Or you're talking to her, why was her back to you? Or little things like that, that you're like, wow, they are paying attention to the most minimal things, because they only get one shot to do it, and they have to do it right. Once they give you that position, they can't just switch you for another girl. So they're bringing you in with a commitment that you're going to be with them for 4 or 5 years. So it's like a marriage. You're not getting married every time, every 2 days to a different guy, right? So it's like the same thing. Like, in your head, you're coming in full force for your life. So it's for the career of college. I have one shot. So I want to make sure that I take the best possible girl out there. And
And parents, they're watching you too. I had a college coach when I was talking to one of them for my son who's getting recruited to play basketball, and he's like, yeah, you're one cool customer. And I'm like, excuse me? He goes, yeah, I was at the game, I saw you. And I was like, I had no idea he was on the other side of the gym. Like, but he goes, it's not that hard. You start matching up who are the parents and how big are the kids, and oh, this one goes with that one. And
yeah,
they're noticing. And the last thing they want is a parent that's going to be calling all the time or jumping up and down or yelling at the refs or what. Like, life's too short. I can find 100 other kids that can put the ball in the basket the way your kid does. Like, that's not the special skill, right?
Yeah. And then you asked me earlier, which and I have to because these are these are my daughters. And I just love, you know, I had a national championship. And the biggest thing when you have a national championship at 17 and you bring the same exact team to the 18s, what's going to happen next? There's teams that fall, other teams get better, and everyone's doing their homework and learning how to beat you. So I remember having this conversation with, I had this team. I have like Sophia Lindes, Callie Owens, Charlotte, Vaughn, Ellie Gordon, Eliana Moreno, Hannah Glick. I mean, I just had, oh my God, Brady. She's going to kill me. But I had so much talent. But sometimes it's, how do you have all this talent and for them to gel together? And not only that, okay, we won. A lot of times, like, there's nothing next. Like, why do we have to work so much harder if we're already here? And I remember, like, Sophia Lindes was the captain of that team, and she's just so strong. She plays for Wesleyan now, and she's just so strong in the sense of, no, like, it's not okay to just be okay. We have to now be better. We were 17, now we're 18. But I remember her, she would grab, and the girls, it's kind of like a mind game, because we did play a few tournaments that it's kind of like, oh, it's so nice to win without doing much. But what are we going to do when that team at National is going to push us? We weren't pushed much, other than that year we had two big Sunshine team and two national championships, the Open team and our USA team, right? So it was like, a lot of times it was like the semis or the finals is Sunshine versus Sunshine, which is amazing as a club. As a coach, you're like, my girls versus my girls. It's like the most beautiful thing to have. It's like, I'm winning no matter what, so I go home happy. But I remember at Nationals, in the finals, we kind of cruised. Then we had a tough quarters or crossover, which happens, but it was in the finals. We saw a team. I was like, wow. And we beat them 25-17. And then they gave us like a 25, I think like 9 or 10. People were like, what just happened? I was like, and I look at Kerry Klein, I'm like, we've had an amazing season. And it's not like it's a disbelief. It's just the other girls, they were just bigger. They believed it. And I will never forget Kylie Owens, that's Teal's daughter. I always say they have something else. Like, it was this blank stare of, and she doesn't speak much. And she told Sophia and Maeve, our setter, is Maeve.
Love her.
It was like, give me every ball, lift this. Like, it was just like they were directing. I was like the cheerleader at this point, not the coach anymore. But it was so beautiful to watch your girls that have grown, that since they're 13, and now in this moment of their life, and to turn that around. And we were losing by 4 or 5 points the last set, and we turned it around, and it was just magic. It was magic in the making. That's like forever, I hate telling people like, what's my best team? Because, I love all my girls. But as a team, I would have to say, so far, that team is just, because of their mind. I've had players that are maybe stronger, but mind-wise, it was very difficult to break them, because we had some pillars in that team that were just unbreakable. So I'm so grateful. I always tell people like, oh my God, you. No, me, nothing. It was amazing. I was a cheerleader. I was getting paid to be there. It was awesome for me, because they took over. They coached themselves. It was great. It was a gift that I got after many years of coaching. It was a gift to get that national championship from those girls.
But I would say what you did give them was permission. You gave them permission to drive so that they could do that. There are some coaches that would be like, no. I need to control. It's all about me. So you were smart enough in the moment to say, I got to get out of the way. Right?
Listen, one thing I learned early, And I am so grateful I learned. Carrie Klein sent me to this, I forgot the name, but I went to this like thing about being coaches, and I was learning because we forget that we have so much power in our words. I have girls years later, oh my God, thank you so much for saying something that for me was like, what? Like, it was like a unpassing conversation. It sticks to them, the good and the bad. So I tell all my coaches now, I'm the club director at Sunshine in the Valley out of Louisville High School. But I tell my coaches now, like, hey, you have to remember that even a minimal thing that you say sticks to them. So we have to be careful because we have so much power. And but one thing was, because I was always an athlete. I was an athlete. I did the national team. I played world championships. I played NCAA at Long Beach State, D1, like being in the top of the top. And it was like, once you're a coach, you need to know that it's not about you anymore. It's about my girls. And I feel that I started coaching when God really knew that I was ready for it. Because I love the scene. I love the stage. I love it. Now I still love it in a different role. I know how to stand by my sidelines. I'm here, girls. I gave you all the tools, just like parents. You give them all the tools you can, hoping that they take the best decisions when they're out there in college, not under your wing, right? So as a coach, I'm the same way. I can't play for them. I can't help them inside. So I stand as a cheerleader now. I gave you all the tools. I hope that you pull the trigger. So that's kind of like my mentality towards it all. So yeah, like you said, I gave them permission because we worked hard. We believe that we deserve to be here at this point right now. That's why even in high school now, I have sometimes 6 a.m. practices. And people are like, why would you go to 6 a.m. if the gym is open at 5? Because this kid needs to know that I'm giving up a few things. I am working so hard because it's hard to wake up so early. But
For all of us.
you need to feel I work hard enough to be here. I'm excited for this opportunity. Like Carrie always says, like we never use the word nervous anymore. Like, are you nervous? Nope. I'm excited. Switch the word nervous for excited. I always remember this. And these are the little things that I remember that I pick and take from other people around me that help me and help my girls. Every time, like, who's nervous? Well, I'm just excited for the opportunity to be here. I'm excited that I get to serve that last point. I'm excited that I get the opportunity to block that last point. So it's a mind game because the tools are there and no one works harder than us, but it's their mind that's going to control if they're going to pull the trigger or not.
Parenting, coaching, teaching, I think there are all three things where, and we know this as adults now, where you'll meet somebody and they say, oh, I love art, I do all these beautiful artworks, and you're like, why, to your earlier point at the beginning, why didn't you do that for a living? Because my mom said, that's stupid, you'll never make money at it.
Yeah.
And that, what the mother said and completely forgot about, moved on with her life, got embedded somewhere in the back of your brain where these two don't compute. And so now I have to go find something else, and I'm going to go be making it up an accountant, even though I hate being an accountant, but that's what my mom said I needed to do to pay the bills.
To
Right.
pay the
And
bills.
I'm
It
not
goes
saying,
back to what we
yeah,
said earlier about passion. Anyone
yeah,
that you say, I want to be a singer, I want to be a designer or whatever, parents immediately like cringe. You're paying X amount of what dollars to go to the top schools and you want to be a singer? Oh, hell no. So it's like that mentality. But their passion is like they love a stage, they love Broadway, they love this, but you know that you're going to be a starving artist, you know? So,
yeah.
and it's hard for parents, and I get it because you're working so hard just for them. I know that once you put that parent cap, it's just everything is for your children now, which is I love to see it, but at the same time it's like you need to allow them to have a passion.
And at the same time, it is their journey, not your journey, right? So
Yeah.
I have a chapter in there, whose dream is it? And if it's not her journey or his journey, it's not going to last. I mean, you may be able to force it for 5 or 7 or 10 years, but
Yep.
the story in there about a kid who got the full ride in golf to play golf at Stanford. He won the lottery for the parents. And right before he was supposed to go, he said, I'm not going. I'm not
Oof.
going to Stanford. and I'm not playing golf. And the parents are like, what? No, no, no. This is what we've worked for, right? And of course, no parent sets out to say, well, I'm going to orchestrate this and it's going to go, every single step's going to go the way I want. But what are you doing to check in with them along the way to make sure it's still their dream and their passion? And as they evolve and change, whatever they learn in that sport or activity is coming with them. And those
Yeah.
lessons, those life lessons that, maybe they don't become, maybe they don't even play in college, but that's okay. They still learned a lot of great skill sets that are going to be transferable to whatever they pursue next.
And at the end of the day, you know, my mom always told me this, like, since growing up, for whatever it is that I think a parent, like for me as a coach, like I said earlier, I've had girls with talent quit. This was not it for them. And it's like, why are you quitting? You're so good. No, 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 you can't do this. But it's not my decision. It's not, she doesn't have the passion for it. Her passion is in the liberal arts. It's in the performing arts. And I'm like, but you're just such an amazing volleyball player. You can go wherever you want to school. You can do whatever you want in life. You can make money out of this. But it's not in them. So when they force themselves to do it, they're going to burn out. Secondly, they're going to hate you for it. Third, they're not happy. I think as a parent, as a coach, the ultimate prize is your kid happy? If your kid is happy, being the one that only carries the water bottles and gets to play 1 point, or being the superstar, or whatever role, because people have to understand, even in society, like everything organized has a role. Not everyone is Michael Jordan, but there were so many people around him that without them, he alone cannot make it happen. You know what I mean? From the massage therapist, through the psychologist, through the everyone is part of that man as a brand, right? Alone, you can't get it done. So if you're happy doing that, we have a physical therapist that's her thing. She loves it.
Yes.
She lives for that. And I'm like, it's so crazy because she doesn't get any recognition, any,
And
but
that's
she
probably the way
loves
she
it.
prefers it, which is why she's in that job, right? Like
Yeah,
she doesn't want
she
the
doesn't
accolades. I'm
care
not that
for
kind of
it.
person, right? Yeah.
Doesn't even care
No,
for
I
it.
say parent the child you have, not the one you wish you had, right? So they
Yeah,
come out of the
yeah,
womb and we have this idea about who they're going to become, and we start putting labels on them, and we start deciding what their future is going to be. And that's not the way this is supposed to work. Let
yeah,
them experiment, be there to be the soft place for them to land when it doesn't go well, so that they're willing to take risks when they're out there in the world going, you know what? I tried that in high school, and it was okay, but it wasn't right really for me. But it made me try this, and this I really like, right? And life
yep.
is wayfinding. Life is figuring it out as we go along, taking big swings, falling down, landing flat on your face, going, oh, that was interesting, and learning from it.
You know something I've tried to do now? I'm like a creature of habit. I kind of like, I always tell people, like, if I ever owe you money, you know where to find me because I go to the same place, order the same thing. And now I'm like, you know what? I actually open the menu, like, never had this. Can I get one of these now? Why? Because it's like, I want to experience other, like expand your palate. And then know
Yes.
for yourself, like, do you want Brussels sprouts? If they're not crispy, I don't want them. I already know how I like them because I'm trying it. Before, a couple of years ago, Brussels sprouts, I'm like, ew, why? Why would I do that? But now even not know I like them. So it's experimenting in a way. It's just like sports. You might be in sports at 10 years old, love it, and stick to it. You might not. You might jump a few times. I have girls that they were swimmers. I have girls that they were tennis players. I have girls that they were, ballet, whatever it is. But then they find themselves into volleyball. Now, parents, if she really doesn't like it, don't bring them. Do not bring them. I don't want that check. I tell them, I don't want to cash that check. I don't want her here. And it's nothing personal. It's just we want girls that are living and breathing volleyball. So, because she's not happy, you're happy. because you want to travel with us. You want to sit there for hours and cheer, and you love this. I have parents tell me, Frankie, because some, especially moms that have other daughters that play, and then this one, now I can continue my
Journey.
my
Yeah.
journey now for 4 more years with this one. And I'm like, but she doesn't want to be here.
Yeah.
So I had a mom that I love to death, Cindy Subi. She's been with Sunshine for how long? For a decade,
11,
like,
12, 15 years. Yeah.
yeah. But one of her daughters was with us, and she understood that. She's like, Mom, I don't want to play club. And it hurts her because it's like, this is the only thing I've been doing for the past decade, but my child comes first. And we had a conversation because, of course, the initial thing is like, hey, let's talk, kind of to see if it's only she's a little burned out, she needs a week or two to chill, or this kid is really wants something else. And the kid just wanted to play in high school, and that's it. And that's okay. And I love that she
Mhm.
understood that that's what her kid needed. And instead of pushing her, because as a parent, you can push for things and get away with it. But if she's gonna be unhappy, don't bring her. So that's why I always love Cindy Sue, because my child wants this, she understands it and supports that decision. And that's, at
Mhm.
the end of the day, all you need to be there for. Support, love them, and guide them to their best, but let them decide a little bit for themselves.
I love to watch you play. 6 words. That's all they need to hear from us.
Yeah.
They don't need the diatribe on that coach sucks or that player shouldn't play or anything. And I encourage parents, after each match, each game, each tournament, go over to a person on the other team, and wow, that was a great hit down the line, or oh, that was an amazing block, or like we inevitably, the Sunshine uniforms are kind of notorious. I always have parents come up and say, gosh, you guys have the best uniforms. Even
Yeah.
something as simple as that is
Yeah.
showing that we all are keeping it in perspective. It's a game. This is supposed to be fun, and we can value the talent on both sides of the net, and we can
Yeah.
value that everybody is here to just get better and to try. And it's not,
Cool.
all about the podium. The podium's amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm the most competitive person. I'll try to beat you at checkers or whatever. But at the same time, we got to look at this youth sports thing from the
Kirsten,
lens of,
can I pause you for 1 second?
yeah,
I'm so sorry. Life. Life happened. I was waiting
that's all
for
right.
this Nike box.
Well, good. At least you said the right brand. 15 years
Exactly.
with the swoosh. You got to buy the swoosh. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Very good.
so
No,
I'm so sorry I cut you,
it's
but you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So enjoying the ride. And as hard as it is and I think you do have a lot of parents who are, and I'm going to be an empty nester here in 9 months. And
I know.
there's a mourning period of, this is what we do. This is who we are. We don't know any different either. And so much of it is so positive. So we miss it and we long for it. And that's normal, I
And
think.
I want to give you a personal thing that I noticed. So, you know, I've noticed how, so at least for me, like during my practice and stuff, I like the girls. I don't really want parents there. They can show up the last 15 minutes of it or something, like, sure. Because girls don't even talk the same way when the parents are there. They act differently because the parents are there. So I want them to give them a safe space to just be whoever they are, truly are. And I noticed how during when the pandemic hit, right? And there were times that we go to tournaments and it's like, oh, parents can't be inside the tournament or stuff. And it was such a complete different vibe, because even that girl that is not maybe a starter and is on the sideline, she's happy, cheering, jumping around. And once the parents were there, now that happy, cheery person becomes stressed and gets anxious because the parents are upset that they're not playing, and they can feel it, and they start, oh, coach, am I going to play? Hey, coach. And it's not the kid pushing like, hey, I want to play. It's because they don't know how to react to the parents' facial expression, body language,
Mhm.
or also the way they talk about the coach in the car. Well, that kid is absorbing like a sponge all that energy. And I noticed that I was telling people like, wow, I wish tournaments were like this all the time, where no parents are here. Let the kids play. Let them have fun. Parents have no clue who played, who did what. If you want to see us, there's a camera.
Like it
Because
was back in when I played, at least. Tell us about it, again, when you get home. We'll talk about it around the dinner table, which doesn't
yeah,
happen much anymore
my
either. But
parents never
yeah,
junior
yeah,
wise, I remember my parents saw me like the finals of nationals or something. Oh, okay, they show
yeah.
up. It's like an event.
Championships.
But my parents weren't there week after week on little tournaments at all. They had no clue. I remember one time like, oh, you're like good. I'm like, yeah. Even when I
Cool.
was in the
Yeah.
national team, I
Yeah.
went to my house once. I was 16. I run home and I'm like, Mom, I need to bring my passport. And she's like, for what? Oh, we're going to Saudi Arabia for the Youth World Championship. And they're like, with who? I'm like, it's the national team. It's like, oh, like you guys are going to travel. Like, wait, my dad had to go. Like, okay, now for the first time, my dad shows up, introduce himself. Like, what's going on here? Like, my 16-year-old is saying that you guys want to take him to the Middle East, and that's because everything was more, and I loved it because it's like whatever. I didn't even know till I moved to America that parents have conversations about playing time, etc. That doesn't happen in the R. The coach
Yeah.
knows. The coach wants to win, and the coach is going to put the best six that he feels is going to get the job done, and that's it. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't even know I could have a conversation about this. Like, that would have been cool.
I grew up in Montana, and volleyball didn't become a sanctioned sport till I was in high school. And I guess I remember getting Volleyball Monthly magazine. And I guess in the Volleyball Monthly, there was an ad for Al Skate's volleyball camp in San Diego. And I signed myself up for it. And I remember my parents dropped me off at the airport. I flew down to San Diego, didn't know a soul, stayed at a dorm with a girl that didn't want to stay with me because she already came with all of her friends to the camp. So, like, and my parents could have cared less if I played volleyball. It was there was nothing about, oh,
Yeah,
Kirsten, needs to go do this. Of course, they didn't come, and for some reason, I didn't even call home the whole week. I thought, I guess I decided to do this. I need to do this on my own.
yeah,
Okay, it wasn't like going out of the country, but for a 16-year-old girl to say, okay, this is
yeah,
what I really want to do because the best competition is down there, and I want to go check it out, like said something about, this is something I really want. So
yep,
that, and that's what you're looking for, parents, is when they start doing those kind of things. Can I go to the 6 a.m. workout? Can I have the extra one-on-one session? They're curious about, and I had Carrie Walsh on a couple of weeks, and I love what she said, which was weakness equals potential. So she said, whenever I'm not doing something well, I'm like, ooh, it's good news because it means it's something I can get better at.
yeah,
And when
yeah,
we start looking at it that way and not like, well, you suck at this. And I feel like, unfortunately, these kids are told what they don't do all the time. And so then they feel less than versus, ooh, here's an opportunity. If we worked on your blocking, we worked on your eye tracking, think of if you could block one more ball, then you could be like, those little things can become the big things.
yeah. I have. It's kind of similar to my motto with my any team I have, but especially this team because I was in Hubbard Westlake, it's D1
Yeah.
school. Now I'm in Louisville High. It's in Woodland Hills, an all girls Catholic school. We have potential, absolutely, but it's a D5 school, so it's a complete different mind game. Also, the parents don't. It's a complete different culture. Any D1,
Mm.
whatever, they know, and they do their privates and their weight training and this and that and 6 a.m. and everyone goes it's on board. It's such a complete different monster where I am now. But I try to teach the girls because first off, they're very impressed with my presence there. I'm 6'6", they know I've won stuff, and so they're like, oh my god, so kind of nervous and a little afraid of me, and they want to do well for me, and I love them for it. But I start telling them, not for me. You do it for each other. You do it for yourselves. First for yourself, because you need to take care of yourself
Mm.
first, and then for your girls. I'm here to be your biggest cheerleader. See me like that. And I always keep telling them, you don't have to get the point. You don't have to get that ball up. what I always teach them is you have to give me 100% the move that I told you, the move that I showed you and trained you to do. If you give the full effort, we call it, my girls would tell you, like, what are the
intangibles,
the uncontrollables? What are the controllables? The things that we can control. Because I say you can have Team USA in the other side. Best in the best. Team USA is there. Well, I can still control a free ball. I can still control my energy, the effort, my quickness. I can control my serve because those are things on this side. Now, when they're going to hit and stuff and they kill you, that's another story. But I can still the control. I want effort. I always tell them, I have never lost a match in my entire life. And they were like, what? I'm like, yeah, I've never lost. They're like, that's impossible. I've been beaten before, but I gave it my 100%. So if you give 100%, you don't lose. Just the team beat you, and that's okay. They were a little bit better than you, like, but I went with, I went full 100%. And that's all I want from my girls. And that's why I tell them, every time you feel pressure, the pressure I put on you is to give me your 100%. It's not a score. I tell them, forget about the score. We've had wins that they're ugly. I'll take them. Don't get me wrong. I want my win. But I go home not that happy because it was like we are so much better than that. And we won. People are like, Frankie, you won. Yeah, but we are working so hard that I don't like that type of win. And then we actually had a loss against one of the top teams out there. And I mean, I think they killed us, but it's the best we've played all season. I went home like the huge smile. People are like, this guy must be crazy because he just got his butt spanked and he's happy about it. I'm like, my girls were diving on the floor, cheering like crazy, getting a block and going insane. And that's what I want, regardless of the score. Because listen, between you and I, when the years pass and stuff, you even forget about all these matches. But it's the emotions, the sensations, the things that you feel inside is what you're gonna carry with you. Those are people like your memories. A lot of your memories are here, more than here. It's an emotion that you feel that even makes you smile. I've had little emotions without thinking much, and I am like in a happy place because of the emotion I felt remembering that moment. So I just love being able to provide that. Again, don't get me wrong, I'm tough and I'm going to push you, but I push not for score. I push for effort and energy, controllable. Anything that I feel is controllable by us, I would say we play our side of the net. The things that I can control, that is where I push. Now, the result, just like in life, you might do everything you're supposed to do, and still some things are like, why is not everything going my way? Well, that's called life. Like right now, I'll be driving 6 Maseratis because I control my life and I do everything I'm supposed to do, and still I don't have 6 Maseratis. But you know what? I'm doing everything I can, like it was taught to me, and in my head, I'm doing every day the best I can to my abilities, and it's just gonna get me to wherever God feels I deserve to be and I need to be. And I'm content with this. I am happy because every day I push myself, I push my girls. If we're staying D5 forever, I want to be the best D5 team in the nation.
There you go.
Because that's where I deserve to be, and we are gonna work as hard as a D1 team. And if we need to be in D5, that's where we're going to be. But our effort and energy are going to be Olympian level.
There you go. Control what you can and let the rest go. And that's what we spend so much time worrying about what everybody else is thinking or doing or saying. Doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is how I'm showing up, what effort I'm giving, what attitude I have, being a good teammate, being a good, leader within myself, within my capabilities and my style.
Listen,
Frankie,
there's
we
Team
could talk
International. There's an
all
international
day.
team called
Yeah.
Thailand. I mean, Thailand is good, but they're not the next to win an Olympic gold medal. But Thailand in women's volleyball, they're always smiling, always happy. Sometimes they're losing by 10. And it's like, and they are going for everything, no matter what, no matter the score. And it's very beautiful to watch because us, even not getting the ultimate goal, whatever, we're always pout. We always roll our eyes. I see girls even looking at the other girl like, ugh, like, oh my God, like little things like that that deteriorate from each other. But I love Team Thailand because they, energy wise, it's insane. Sometimes you're like, you're losing and they don't care. It's 24-12 and they are playing like their life depends on that, you know? While we are the reverse. At 24-12, the next ball, I just let it drop. I'm like, oh, my bad, like, whatever, next point. They don't have that, and that's what I want my girls to have inside. We work hard, no matter what. You can, again, put Team USA on the other side. You're going to see me prepare the same way. You're going to see me dressed to the nines, coming in here with a game plan. People might say I'm crazy because Frankie, it's the Olympic gold medal in the other side against your D5 17-year-olds. I don't care. I am going 100% also. And that's why I want the girls to always take with them. Anything you do in life, just do 100%. Let everything else drop where they're supposed to go, you know? Because if you go home saying that you gave 100%, you go home happy. I can guarantee you that.
That's right. I love it. You're amazing. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. We can talk all day. I didn't know you
Right?
have to go to practice. I'm going to end with one last question because I like to ask this, and you can answer it and take it whichever direction you want. And I love all the different answers I get. But having played at all these different levels, having coached, the best athletes I know do this. How would you finish that statement?
Oh my God. This is like a Miss Universe question where I feel I'm going to lose the crown if I don't respond to the.
Well, that's the best answer right there. I think you should even answer it.
Right? Like, oh my God. Can you repeat the question? No, I'm kidding. Um, Listen, I can go so many places with this. I think the best athletes have fun. I think the best athletes work hard to understand that they deserve to be there. I always knew, like, I hear people like, well, perfection is the expectation. You know what? Hard work is the expectation for me. Perfection doesn't mean anything for me. What is perfection? I don't even know how to describe perfection because perfection for you might mean so different for me. For me, perfection is trying as hard as you can. But as hard as you can might not be enough for someone else, or it's too high for someone else. So it's very relative. So I think the best athletes in the world are good at what they do because they prepare, they work hard at their craft, their mind understands that they are prepared for that, and they're excited for the opportunity. I mean, I can go anywhere with it, but I think those are very, very
I
key.
agree.
When you have that
Great.
confidence, listen, the more you prepare, the more confident you are in your craft. That's how I
Yes.
feel. You know, like I remember when I started coaching, I'm like, oh my God, like, oh, all these kids are surrounding me, waiting for guidance and stuff. I'm like, world peace, guys. Like, let's go. Like, I have no clue what to tell them, right? But now, years later, that I have put the work. I have gone to classes. I have coached enough. I have gone to bigger coaches clinics and their practices to learn and keep learning. And still, I want to keep learning to every day get better. I'm confident in my craft now. When I show up there dressed to the nine, you know that I'm confident on my craft. So I want to bring that to the girls. I want the girls to feel Coach Frankie has our backs. And I'm confident in my craft. And it's because I put the work and I deserve to be there. And whenever I step into a final and I stand there in a final match, I deserve to be there. Right now, I have to give props. I have kids like, like a Zoe, a Julina, and many I can, I have Kylie. I'm going to forget names of girls that, they're used to, well, they're not the ones. They're not number one. And no, wherever we have to play, it's Division 5, we have to be the best D5 in the nation. So I love that they have transitioned now the way they work, because they used to work to just be a volleyball player, participate. And I tell people, I don't participate. I don't participate. I come here to win. Now, do I win every time? No. Kirsten, don't get me wrong. I have won a lot, but I don't win everything. But I come with a mentality to win. So I go home a winner already, like, because I did not come to participate. I came here to, like, take everyone down. Does it happen? Not all the time, but I can prepare for it. So I love how my girls, little by little, because it's the mind is a heavy muscle to attack, but they're understanding now that we work as hard as we can, and then let's see what happens.
I love it. Frankie, you're amazing.
Thank you,
Parents
Kristen.
and athletes who are attracted to this type of leadership, this type of growth, and the opportunity to go out and do your best, Sunshine Volleyball. The tryouts have gone on already for the high school teams, but are coming up very soon for the little ones. And you're running the whole league in the Valley, right? The team in the Valley?
I have Sunshine Valley. It's out of Louisville High School in Woodland Hills, like Woodland Hills meets Calabasas. And listen, it's my first year. Super, super excited about it because a lot of the parents are coming to get the Sunshine. Because I come from Sunshine West Side. Like all the championships and stuff that people know are Sunshine West Side. So I'm coming with that little Carrie Klein book that we have been forging together for so many years, and all my expertise now to create, because she's a monster in what she does. And that's exactly kind of the mentality that I'm coming in with for the parents, for the kids, for the school. And that's why I think Sunshine Valley is going to be very successful. So I'm here to get all the talent out in the Valley to stay in the Valley with me at Sunshine. And that's why I moved there, to expand what my passion is. My passion is volleyball. There's no questions whatsoever about it. And listen, if you need to know something about me, I leave my house normally at 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't come home till 8:30 p.m. because I have a morning job. I'm a medical device rep in the morning, and I immediately then put my cape that says Coach Frankie starting 3:30 p.m. So I work 24/7, and there's days where I'm like, why? Like, you have a good job. Why do you do this? Because money's not it doesn't fill me. The money that I do in the morning is enough to live. But my passion is those girls playing volleyball, calling me, oh my God, I just got recruited to this. Oh my God, look, I can serve over the net now. Little things, the big things, it fills me so much joy. And that's my passion. And that's why I always say passion is what drives me out of bed every day.
So can people find you I think they can find you on social. Can they follow you?
Yes. So my name is Frankie Valdez, but my social media is F Valdez 6, the number 6. Or you can type in Frankie Valdez and you'll probably see me. But yeah, any questions, I'm there. And I love to, if it's about volleyball, I love to talk all day long. So I'm always around.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been so much fun. I knew it was going to be a great conversation. I knew it was like, oh, this is going to be a blast.
No, so, I feel insanely like, wow. I can't believe, like, you have amazing people that come to your show, to your podcast. So I'm like, well, I can't believe you even thought of me. So I'm very grateful. So thank you for bringing me and kind of giving you my story and my ideas.
Absolutely. I have a feeling there's going to be other ones. So we'll see how we go, and maybe we'll do another one next spring when you're in the middle of the season, and we can check in on how it's going.
Awesome. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, parents, athletes, coaches. You are listening out there. Please buy the book, Raising Empowered Athletes. Follow the podcast, #Raising Athletes. Jump into my DMs, Kirsten Jones Coach or Raising Athletes. And drop us a message. If you have a message for Frankie or a message for me, a question, how do I help navigate that? That's what my passion is helping parents and athletes and coaches figure this out. So we got this. Let's do this.